TimeEnds Radio.
I got V. V, how you been, man?
I'm good, man. Good, man. Excited to be on your show, man. Looking forward to talking to you and telling you guys what I'm about.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna just dive into it. You and I both, we advocate for individuals with disabilities. We both work with individuals that mostly the population of autism. The question is, how did you get into that?
My story of getting into autism was real simple. I was at work one day, and I overheard a conversation with two coworkers, and they were talking about their kids, and they were talking about them having autism and going to therapy and things of that nature. And I just kind of walked up to the conversation and just kind of asked them what they were talking about, and they started explaining everything to me. And from that point, I was just intrigued by the struggles, first of all, that they were going through with their kids. And just dealing with the public in general. And that's pretty much how I started, because that conversation is pretty much how I got into it. It was that led up to everything that I'm doing now, just that conversation I had with them.
It's incredible how that happens, just like walking by or observing something or reading something just inspires to be involved in something that's so amazing, that's incredible. Well, okay. Is there any stories you'd like to share? Anything that would kind of help? Because I know a lot of people still don't understand it. Surprisingly, it's 2020 and they still don't understand how disabilities work. But I mean, is there anything you'd like to share for them to kind of get an idea?
Well, I've been doing this advocacy for 3 years. And, everybody has their own opinion. The parents have their own opinion as to how the child developed autism. They have their own opinion as far as the awareness they want from it or whether or not they do want it. So autism is different for every child. It's a disability that ranges from, being nonverbal to having, some of them have, extreme deformities or, everyone's different when it comes to autism. They're all different. Some of them are extremely smart. There's high functioning. Some of them are good at drawing. Some of them are good at singing. I mean, it's just the spectrum is huge, basically. So you got a wide variety of people that are on this spectrum that all suffer from different things when it comes to things such as sensory issues, or whether it be sound or lighting or touch. The list goes on and on as far as people on the autism spectrum.
Yeah. Is there in your perspective, is there any advice you could give, just our listeners, just so you understand, 80% of our listeners are individuals with disabilities.
Right.
You've seen what I do. So,
right.
And, they listen because I have guests that are on the spectrum or disabled, in one way or another. Mm-hmm. My crew, they're graduates of the program I teach at. And, is there? Let me rephrase the question. Sorry, I kind of remembered something about.
No, that's fine.
The graduation. Is there anything you'd like to say to them so that they know that you're advocating for them as well? Because I have guests come on here and they always they say that they're involved, but we forget that they listen as well. So is there anything you want to let them know?
I see. Well, one thing for sure is that a lot of people they don't realize that I don't have a child on the spectrum. Um, I had no involvement with disabilities before this. I've always been the type of person that just liked to help people in general. So when this opportunity came along and I saw an opportunity to where I could use my talent to possibly make a difference when it comes to spreading awareness about autism, I jumped on it. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand because they genuinely believe that I have some type of association with someone with autism. They don't understand that this passion that I've developed is because I just developed a passion for helping a group of people that I felt needed that awareness. And that came from interviewing 8 families. I interviewed 8 families because I didn't know anything about autism. So after interviewing 8 families, learning their struggles and the problems that they dealt with in society and how people judged them and things of that nature, it just kind of gave me, I guess, the inspiration to use my talent to make a difference. And, I'm not looking for anything in this. Of course, I raised $50,000 for the Autism Society of America, $25,000 for my local branch here in San Diego, $3,000 for Autism Speaks, and that doesn't include all of the personal things that I do on my personal page for all of the autism parents that follow me on my page. I have like contests where I give away anywhere from $300 to $600 for answering a simple question, or the first person that posts a picture of their child with autism. Just things like that is what I do to help people, because I know from what I've learned is that a lot of the parents are single moms with the children. And it's just something that I noticed on my Facebook account. And I know that the struggle is there for them. So, that $100 that I give away, it makes a big difference in their lives. I know that there's been times where they've taken that money and bought groceries and, they let me know. So these are the things that I do. And it's not because I'm trying to gain anything out of it. I'm not looking for fame. One thing about fame is that I had to finally accept that I was pretty well known, because I was in denial for a long time. People would say, you're famous. And I would always say, I'm a bus driver. I just happen to be known. That's the way I used to explain it to people. So I'm not looking for the fame, but eventually I had to accept the fact that a lot of people knew me. And when they started recognizing me for the good that I do, I had to accept that. So, but it's not what I'm looking for. And as far as fortune, that's definitely not, because I won a lawsuit back in 2017. And I spent $25,000 of that money, which was my money, to continue spreading awareness for people that are on the spectrum and the parents. I did this on my own. No one asked me to do it. I just saw that the song had resonated with so many people. I didn't want to stop. I didn't just want to release a song and then just stop promoting the song and stop promoting awareness in general. So I took $25,000 of that money and I continued to spread awareness in different ways. And I'm a very creative individual. So that's what I did. So when it comes to the money, that's my own personal money. But when it comes to making money, I have a regular job and I'm also a product developer. And my intent is to eventually have my own nonprofit organization and have monies from my business that actually is put towards this nonprofit organization as a product developer. That's pretty much my goal.
A lot of people don't see that, because it's not advertised. You know what I mean? And,
right.
And a lot of individuals, they just don't. That's why I'm happy that you're saying all this. And, just for our listeners, we're going to get into, because they're like, what do you mean, what song? What 50,000? That's part of my giant list of questions I have for
Okay. Okay, got it.
These are the things that individuals do that just it never gets discussed, or it's not even covered. And you know what? The way I look at it, it doesn't matter, because people are getting the help they need, and the hero, they know who the hero is, and And a lot of people, they do, I've seen that they do this for the fame, for like, oh, I did something good. But, individuals like yourself, you're just doing it because you love doing it. And that's incredible.
That's right.
It's inspiring, and I hope it inspires the audience. So with that being said, before we get into the whole music thing, because, we're both musicians here.
Right.
How did you come up with your name?
Versatile actually was a group, believe it or not. When I say a group,
like you were in a group, or
I'm sorry,
you were in a group, or like a.
There was only two of us.
Okay.
There was only two of us. Okay, so that's when I say a group. There was two of us, and I came up with the name Versatile because I don't consider myself an all-out singer, but I'm pretty good at doing catchy hooks. That's what I'm good at doing. So in the majority of my songs, I sing all of my hooks in my songs. And when it comes to the name Versatile, it's not spelled the traditional way. But since I could sing, he could rap, I could rap, and he could also do reggae. So that's why I came up with the name Versatile, is because it's just a variety of music that we could do. And so I came up with Versatile. But coincidentally, what happened was, after teaming up with him and starting to make music, I eventually found out that he was affiliated with gangs. And I had no idea. That he was affiliated. He had left and into the gang life up in San Jose. He had relatives that was in it that actually featured on my song, and all of this stuff I didn't find out till one day he tried to implement this into the music we was making.
Really?
Yes, he tried to implement it into the music we were making, and at that point, I said, "No, I have a family. I can't put them in jeopardy like this." So we had a conversation, spoke with because he had a manager that worked with him, and we sat down and we talked, and I just told him, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to keep the name Versatile for myself since I made it up. And I said, and you can move on as a solo artist as well. We can still remain friends, but it's just a lifestyle that I don't want to promote. So therefore, we're just going to have to go our own way. So that's how Versatile came along.
Wow, that's a story. And you've never changed it. It's been from Versatile from the get-go. That's what it's been till now. Yes,
I've never changed the name. I stuck with it ever since we started it way back in, I think it was 2002. 2002 is when I originally started making the album.
Awesome. All right, so there's different genres. There's hip hop, there's trap, there's rap, there's old school and all the new stuff too, like mumble rap and stuff. What genre do you consider yourself, and what genre do you like listening to the most?
Well, I consider myself to be more of just a rapper. I don't consider myself a lyricist. And I admit to that. And I tell people I'm not a lyricist.
Really?
I'm really good at putting rhymes together when it comes to telling a story. I'm very good at doing that. But I'm a rapper, and I consider myself somewhat of an R&B singer. So, so I'm kind of balanced between the both of them, and I kind of dib and dab. I did release a slow song. My first slow song I released, I think it was last year. I released a slow song. And the title of the song is "Can We Go Out Tonight?" It was the name of the song. And I had always wanted to do a slow song just to kind of see how I would sound. And people actually liked it. I put it on Facebook, and, they were surprised. A lot of people were surprised, like, wow, that's you? I was like, yeah, that's me, man. I'm not an all-out singer, but hey, I've always wanted to do a slow song, so I did it, because it just proves that versatility. You know what I mean? And my name's Versatile. So it proves the versatility when I can release a slow song, a rap song, or R&B, combination of all, So, and when it comes to the type of music that I listen to, I think one thing that surprises people is that, first of all, I'm a very non-judgmental person. And, that's what I promote in the song Born This Way, for people not to judge others, because I've always believed that, you can't really judge a person unless you've walked in their shoes. I mean, if you haven't walked in their shoes, I mean, how are you going to judge them? You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what caused them to be the way they are. So I don't judge people, whether they are racist, whether they don't like women because of whatever reason. I don't judge them based on that, because you don't know what they've been through and how they've been raised. Right. So one thing people are surprised about is the fact that I listen to music that has profane language in it. But I personally don't use profane language in my life. I don't use profanity. So when you listen to my music, if you go to my website and listen to my music, there's no profanity in any of my music at all. And it's just something that I don't do. I don't have anything against people that, choose to use it. And it's interesting because at my job, a lot of people know I don't use profane language, but they have that respect for me to where if they slip up and use it, they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, V." They'll apologize to me. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to apologize. I say it all the time, but I don't know. It's a certain respect they have for me. I don't know what it is, but they do. I'm just different from a lot of people that they know. But I listen to a lot of music with profanity in it. And when I say not to judge people, I don't judge them because you don't know what life they've lived. So my mom, I grew up in a household. My mom used profanity in the household, but I decided as an adult that I wasn't going to use it in front of my kids. It was just a decision that I made. So
it's a good decision. Everybody, listen to him.
I'm sorry.
It's a good decision. Everybody, listen to what he's saying. He's a good man. Good man.
Yeah, well, and people look at me like that, but my kids, they both use profanity now. Both of them. But both of them use it, but they won't use it around me. You see, but they do use it, and when they do slip up, they say, "Oh, Dad, I'm sorry." They apologize for it. If they slip up. But, it's just a respect. I've always felt like in the household that, if the wife and the husband, if they don't use profanity, then it kind of decreases the escalation of that argument. Because when you start using profanity, it escalates the argument to another level, especially when the B and the A name is used. It takes it to a whole different level. So it's something that never happened in my household because we didn't use that type of language in my household. I don't judge people because of the music that they produce, but I'm more attracted to the beat. I'm a beat guy. So the sound is what I'm attracted to. Sometimes I don't even listen to the words in the song. It's just the music itself is what attracts me. But I think that's what's surprising to a lot of people about me when it comes to the type of music that I listen to. But I also listen to some alternative rock. I listen to, of course, slow jams. I listen to the techno. I mean, I listen to a variety of music. So I'm not just a one genre type of person, but mainly, yes, hip hop is my love. Hip hop and R&B, that's my love. But I do listen to other genres of music.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. You sometimes don't even listen to what they're saying. You just listen to the beat because I don't know, as a musician, I listen to music, and even if it's noise, I'll hear, I call it the sick feeling. I like things that make me feel emotions, and I'll be listening to sometimes the most horrific metal garbage, and I'm not listening to the voice because all I hear is, it's like I don't really care. But I'm hearing to the melody and the way the instruments are playing, and it's the same thing. Like when you said I listen to the beat, I'm like, oh my god, dude, it's the same. It's awesome.
Same concept, yeah. Yeah,
it's awesome. And I do that with a lot of songs. A lot of different genres. Like a lot of people are surprised I listen to bluegrass. And I like Tom Waits. I am a huge Tom Waits fan. And they're like, what? I mean, you look like this biker metalhead.
Right.
Dude, no, good music is good music,
Right.
What are your like your major influences?
When you say that, are you referring to artists, or are you talking about just people in general, or what do you mean when you say my influences?
Well, we're talking about with your art, but whoever. I mean, if it's an individual, if it's a community, if it's an artist, what are your major influences in your creative outlet?
Well, first of all, I'm a very creative individual. It's just something that I naturally have creativity. And most people are surprised, like when they find out about the patents that I've filed and ideas that I've come up with and things that they see, they're pretty amazed. Like, wow, you came up with that? But I've always been a very creative person. So music is just another creative aspect of me. And when I look at artists, you know, I'm an old school type guy. So when I got into rap, like a lot of people ask me, how'd you get into rap? What influenced you to like do it? And I said, well, believe it or not, when I was 11 years old, my mom sent me to Tennessee to live with my dad. And when I got there, I had two brothers, which they weren't my real brothers, but my dad was married to someone else, and they were, you know, they weren't married, but I considered them my brothers, you know. So what happened is they created what we called high school fraternities. So in Tennessee, we had high school fraternities. So we were Beta Phi Sigma, and our big brothers were Phi Beta Sigma, which is at the colleges. Those were our big brothers, and we were considered little brothers. So my creativity started then, and I really was influenced by step shows and Greek shows. That's what influenced me. And it's interesting. Wow. Yeah, I know, because people are like, how'd you get started in it? And that's how it started, because my brothers was the one that's like, hey man, you should get into this. We starting a fraternity. It's called Beta Phi Sigma. Our big brothers are Phi Beta Sigma at Lane College, and we're going to be doing step shows. So when I got into it, they saw how creative I was when it come to making up the steps for the Greek shows. So I became the step coordinator for the Greek shows. And I was only 14 at the time. Damn. And I was creative to the point to where they were actually looking at me to make up all of the dance steps for these Greek shows. And we were very popular. The big brothers loved us. They even took some of our ideas, some of my ideas, and incorporated into some of their shows. You know, so I was influenced by fraternities. That's how I was originally influenced. Now, in Greek shows, back then, we would rap during the steps. So that was our beat. That was our music, was our feet and our hand. But we would actually rap while we were doing it. So that's how I started rapping. I had to learn how to rap because we were doing these shows. So that influenced me. My big brother influenced me. He was the one that kind of influenced me to start it, you know, and that's where it all started. And it just kind of, over the years, it grew from there. And I think when I got to California, the only thing that really launched my career in California was in 1993, when I actually did, you know, that's when we had voicemail answering machines back then. And I left the voicemail answering machine where I rapped the message. And when I rapped the message, a random female called the number by accident. And she left the message saying, wow, that's a good, she was really excited about the message that I had come up with. And my neighbor upstairs was a producer, and he produced music. And that's how I actually got back into rap after leaving Tennessee back in 1986. I got back into rap back in 1992 and started rapping again. So there was a long stretch. Wow.
Damn. I mean, fraternities, that's a hell of a story.
That's how I started. Wow. That was my influence right there.
That is amazing. Wow. That's a hell of a story. Jeez. Woo. All right. All right. So, okay. Who's your when it comes to flowing, like who is there anybody that you are inspired to?
Well, you know, I'm old school. So, of course, originally back in Tennessee, I started listening to Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, Kumo D, Houdini, you know what I'm saying? The Fat Boys, all of those guys really kind of inspired me to learn how to rap and, you know, back then. But when it comes to California, I'm a Southern boy. I'm from Tennessee. So when I got out here, first of all, when I got here, back in Tennessee, we didn't believe in the movie Colors. I don't know if you remember the movie Colors. Movie Colors was about all the gangs and stuff out in LA.
Mm-hmm.
We thought
it was a good song too.
To us, we was like, that stuff's not real. We didn't think it was real. We thought it was all just an act until I came to California. And when I came to California, that's when I was living over on 61st Street and Skyline. And I was like, man, this stuff is real, because it was, you know, the Bloods killing people over there and stuff. And it just kind of, it took me to a whole nother level with the understanding of it. But what the point I'm getting to is West Coast rap is what inspired me. And one of the artists that really I just love to this day is Daz Dillinger.
Oh,
yeah. Wow. Yeah, Daz Dillinger of the Dog Pound was one of my favorite rappers. I like his flow. It's just something about the way he raps that I feel is unique and that no one has ever duplicated, in my opinion. And I had an opportunity because one of my best friends is Domino. I don't know if you remember Domino. He was way back in the day. He came out, all of them came out together. Snoop Dogg, Domino. I think Domino told me that he was the one that introduced Snoop to Dog Pound. That's what he said. He's the one that introduced them. And then Dog Pound, of course, with Daz Dillinger and Corrupt. So Daz Dillinger has always been somebody that I looked up to as far as a rapper. And one day they came to town, 4th and B. They was performing at 4th and B. So Domino hit me up and he was like, yo, man, I'm coming to town. Dog Pound's coming. You know, they performing. He said, I just want to go to show support. Snoop wasn't coming, but he was like, okay. I was like, okay, I'll come. So I went down and, you know, Domino he started drinking a little bit. This is a funny story to me. He started drinking a little bit. So Dog Pound is up on stage and they're performing. And, Domino walks over to the gate, over to the door to go in the back of the stage so he can walk up on stage. And there's this big bodyguard there. And, you know, Domino is a celebrity. So he looks at him and he goes, yo, man, I want to come up on stage. And then the bodyguard said, well, no, they told me not to let nobody in, you know, because they was up on stage performing. And Domino said, come on, man, let me in. Don't you know who I am? And he's like, I can't let you in, D. I'm sorry, I can't let you. So Domino, he walks over to the side of the stage and he climbs up on the stage.
Are you serious?
And he walks in front of Daz Dillinger and Corrupt and he's dancing back and forth across the stage. And I'm standing on the side like, are you kidding me? But see, you know, Dog Pound, they know who Domino is. They know him, and he's got a lot of respect in the hood. So they ain't say nothing to him. I thought they was going to get mad, but they didn't say nothing to him. He was dancing across the stage. So then he comes over to the side, and he goes, come on, V. And he put out his hand, and he said, come on, V, come up on stage. And I said, no, D. I said, I can't do that, man. I said, they don't know me. I said, I can't do that. I said, I can't get up on stage like that, man. And he was just like, okay. And he just walked back and, you know, started doing his thing. But I never got to meet Daz. But, you know, I was right there on the side of the stage. But I never actually got to meet him. So he don't really know how I feel about him as an artist.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it was
that's the story.
It was a funny story.
I was waiting for you to be like,
I can't believe he did that, bro. Because if I was a performer, I would have been mad. Like, dude, what you doing, man? I'm performing right now. You know, and he was literally just back and forth across the stage, just dancing. So yeah,
wow.
It was funny.
Oh,
funny
God,
story.
What a story. I was waiting for you to tell me, like, yeah, I jumped on stage and started, like, dancing. I was like,
no,
man, crazy.
You know, what's interesting is that night, I'm going to tell you what I remember. What I remember is that I was wearing all white, and I had a red hat on, and I had some shoes that were white and red, which kind of makes me look like a blood, right? I don't gangbang, but it kind of makes me look like a blood. And I know that Daz Dillinger and Corrupt, they're Crips. So I'm thinking if I get up on the stage and they think I'm a blood, they don't know me. Yeah. We might be fighting up on stage. You know what I mean? So,
They think it's part of the show.
I'm thinking, like, dude, there's no way I'm getting up there. They don't know me. I look like a blood right now too. It's not gonna happen. So yeah. No, I didn't do that, bro. I didn't do it.
Oh man, that's a story.
Yeah. Funny story. I got several funny stories and experiences.
Man, you should write a book.
People have told me that because I do have a lot of stories. I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of amazing synchronicities in my life that happen that people are completely amazed by. Just I have an interesting life. A lot of people don't know a lot of things about me, but I have an interesting life, especially when people are around me. And it sounds kind of weird, but sometimes I even warn people when they start hanging around me. I tell them, hey, you may notice some strange things start happening. But, I'm just letting you know ahead of time that some strange coincidences and synchronicities may happen that are amazing. And sometimes they just kind of blow me off until things start happening. So I have a very interesting life, and I don't know how to explain it. It's just very odd. But I'm a good person overall. Very good person.
Just be like, roll with it. That's it.
That's it.
You're going to see some stuff and just roll with it.
That's what I do. That's exactly what I do.
All right. So the next question I wanted to ask you, if you have a record label, and if you do you write your own beats? Okay. Or do you write your own beats anyway?
Okay, so I started my record label back in 2003 is when I launched my record label back in 2000.
What's it
called? But, of course, I never brought on any artists
to
my label. I'm sorry?
What's the label called?
Vee Record Label.
Vee Record, okay, got it.
Yeah, Vee Record Label. So it's just the V. It's not VEE. It's just the V. So Vee Record Labels. Like if you look on, there's a game on Xbox, and of course Xbox and PlayStation, NBA 2K5. If you look on the in the pamphlet in that game, it'll have a soundtrack song that I did, and they called the song "This Game's Hot." They actually renamed my song because my song was called "My Game Is Hot," but they renamed it to "This Game Is Hot." Why? It's one of the soundtrack songs, and it's got Vee Record Label. It's got my name. It says courtesy of Versatile Vee Record Label. It'll say it in there.
Why did they rename it? That's odd.
What's that?
Why did they rename it? That's just odd.
Okay, so yeah, you asked me about that, so I'm just going to give you the rundown on what happened real quick, which it upsets a lot of people when they hear the story. And basically, the story is this: the guy that contacted me was an independent contractor working for ESPN, and when he contacted me, he wanted me to produce a song for this game, NBA 2K5, that was being launched in 2005. He contacted me in 2004, and because he had heard about me. He had heard about me and my music that I was doing. He reached out to me. I won't say his name because what he did to me was pretty bad. But what he did was he reached out to me, asked me to do a song. So I did a song, wrote a song, and performed it. And in the chorus, he's got probably about 5 words that he say in the chorus. And I pretty much wrote all of the raps in the song, all 3 verses. And what he did to me was he sent me a contract. And Domino, whom I told you, who's out of Long Beach, of course, he's down with Snoop and all of them. I hit him up and I said, hey, man, I said, I got this opportunity to feature on this game. And I said, so he sent me the contract. And back then we was faxing everything. So he was like, well, fax it to me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to fax it to you. So I faxed it to him. And he called me back and he was like, no, V, don't sign this. And I was like, okay. He was like, yeah, man. He says, they're not talking about giving you nothing, no residual, nothing. He said, they're just talking about paying you out $500 and then you're not getting anything from it. He said, so I wouldn't sign it. He said, so I'm going to make some changes to the contract. And I was like, okay, cool. So what he did was he blacked out some stuff and he wrote some stuff in because he's good at that, because he's a celebrity and he done been through all of that. He's done been through the game and he done when he released Ghetto Jam and Sweet Potato Pie and all of those songs that were huge, he lost a lot of money because, of the contract.
Right.
So he knew what to do and what not to do, So he made the changes, faxed it back to me. I faxed it to the guy and said, this is what I was signed. He called me up and said, oh, okay, cool, man. It's cool, man. It's all you have to do, V. It's just, make the changes, no problem. We'll take care of it. And I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it's coming.
Well, you're going to trip out on this. So I never heard anything from this guy again. Never heard from him again. I never signed the contract. I was in San Carlos. You know what San Carlos is? Out there by La Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the Blockbuster that used to be out there by that McDonald's out there. I remember. And back then I had a Hummer. I had the H2 Hummer. I had a big orange H2 Hummer, and it had a big V on the back of it. So a lot of people knew me. They knew me because of my Hummer. So I was in that Blockbuster. And when I came outside, there was some kids outside. And they said, Vee Vrsatyl. And I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, oh, man, that song is cool, man. I like that song. I said, which one is that? They said that this game is hot on the game. And I said, the game? And they go, yeah, the song that you put on the game? And I go, yeah, I remember that song, but I'm thinking to myself, I never signed a contract. So how is it on the game? Because I thought that they didn't do it, Yeah. So I go back into Blockbuster and I buy the game because I'm right there. So I go back in, and I don't know if I rented it or bought it, but I just remember getting the game. And I took the game home and put it in my son's Nintendo. I think it was PlayStation or Nintendo, one of them. No, PlayStation. And there, behold, I look into they got they call it I forget what they call it. But they have a list of all of the songs that you could play while you're playing the game. And
to select the music?
Yeah. And I see my CD cover in the game. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They actually put my song on this game without a signature.
Wow.
Right? That's what I'm thinking. Like, so immediately I call up Domino and I tell him what happened. And he says, man, you could sue them for that. They can't just do that, But what happened is some time had passed before I even found out about it. Some time had passed, right? And on the cover, when they released another one, it said over 1 million copies sold. That's what they had. I mean, the game was so good, it had it on the cover, over 1 million copies sold, right?
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, let me just check on it. So I checked with a lawyer. The first lawyer didn't even believe me because, I was kind of a nobody. I wasn't like this big time rapper. So he didn't believe me. And I could tell he didn't believe me. Because he said, I remember him making a statement like, I just can't really see ESPN doing that, and he didn't believe me. So then I got another lawyer, and, because I didn't have like a ton of money back then, but, and, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a lawyer, So what happened is I got another lawyer because I'm thinking, they can do where they work the case for free. And then, when the settlement comes in, they take their percentage.
Yeah.
Talked to another lawyer. He actually listened to me, made a phone call to ESPN. I hadn't technically retained him yet, but I think he wanted to confirm that my story was true.
Right.
So, excuse me. He contacted ESPN. It took him a while for them to get back to him. And they finally told him that, yes, they have a contract on file with my signature on it.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you. So he called me back and he told me what they said. And I started thinking, and I remembered when I went to his house, he asked me for my driver's license. so that he can make a copy of my driver's license. I thought it was kind of odd, but I had never done anything for a big organization like that before. So I didn't think I did think it was odd, like, but he was just saying he needed for ESPN. He told me that. So I was like, okay.
Right.
So I specifically remember him making a copy in his studio. He made a copy. So when the lawyer said that to me, I said to him, I said, but it's forged. I said, I never signed it. And now he started being skeptical, but he was like, well, they got a signature. He says, I just don't see how they would do that. He started being skeptical, right? So then I told him, I said, he took a copy of my driver's license, so he may have forged my signature based on the driver's license.
Right.
And so he started saying, well, that might be hard to fight. And he said, you can do the signature verification, I guess, from a specialist or whatever. So what he did was he checked into it a little bit more, and then he looked at it. He said, well, the statute of limitation has run out on where you could have gotten the majority of the money because they sold over 1 million copies. Yeah. He said the statute of limitation had run out.
Right.
He says, I can still pursue the case. He says, but you're probably going to break even after paying me. That's what he said to me.
That makes sense. Yeah.
He said, you're probably going to break even after paying me. He says, so I wouldn't do it if I were you. He says, but that's up to you. And at that point, I decided I wasn't going to do it. And I never pursued it again. But coincidentally, about 2 weeks ago, I Googled my name, because I do it every once in a while. I Google my name just to see what pops up.
Right.
And it popped up, that game popped up. But you know what he did? He went in and digitally changed all of the credits that was given to me. So the title of the song now, when you Google it, it has his name as if he's the artist in the song. I kid you not. You can do it right now and you'll see it. But I actually have the pamphlet from the game where it states on there, courtesy of Versatile of Vee record label.
Dude,
it sucks.
I gotta watch what I say because I'm part of the music industry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know how cutthroat it is, and that is he did you dirty, and he went back and changed it.
Yes, he went in and digitally changed everything, because years ago, when you would punch it in, my stuff it would pop up as Versatile.
Right.
But he went in and digitally changed everything. I looked it up 2 weeks ago, and I was shocked. And then I said to myself, I said, man, I wonder if there's anything I could do now. Because now, what is it called? Well, one of my fans said plagiarism, because it's like he's taking credit for my writing.
What do you have song. Do you have any like original recordings? Did you copyright it, or do you have the master sound? Anything?
No, it's just you got it. That was in 2005. So I mean, I probably got something like on disc that I have. But. I actually called my lawyer, the one I told you where I won the lawsuit, and I put $25,000 towards, autism awareness. I actually left them a message. Now that we're talking, I just thought about it. I left them a message like about a week and a half ago, and they never called me back. So I don't know what's going on over there, but I called them because I'm curious as to whether or not I now have a lawsuit based on the fact that now he's taking credit even after he forged my signature on this contract. Now he's taking credit for the entire song. And, I remember about some years ago, I didn't understand why, but a fan had made a comment on the YouTube video of the song. Mm-hmm. And that comment was, how can he take credit for your song?
Ooh.
And at that time, I didn't understand why he was saying it. I really didn't. I didn't understand why he was saying that. But, hey, it is what it is. That's what happened to me. So, it's an unfortunate story.
Dude, I'm gonna do some research for you. I'm huge on credit, man. I'll tell you a story later, but I'm really big on credit, and I believe that where it's due, where it's who deserves the credit needs to have the credit, and
Agreed.
even if you just polished something, or if you were just you handed someone coffee, like you know what I'm saying, like,
Right.
dude, that pisses me off. Like,
Yeah, that's what I said. A lot of people were upset about it. They're just like you. They're upset because that was done to me, and I'm probably one of the nicest guys that you will know. And they look at it like, man, that really, really sucks that he did that to you. But he did it, and I got the proof. I even think I still have the contract that I actually faxed to him. I still have that. I have it filed away. I
yeah,
still have that contract.
that would help.
So yeah, he did me dirty.
Dude, you know how embarrassing it would be for him when he finds out what you do in the community you serve and all the good you do? How embarrassing it would be for him?
I can only imagine.
Woo!
Yeah. I just never, like I said, I never pursued it. And I just found this out, like I said, 2 weeks ago, that he's actually taking credit for my song. So it's something new. But I am considering following up just to see if there's anything I could do about it. I'm curious because this changes the whole situation when he's now actually taking credit for it, meaning, he's actually taking credit for my song.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did he, forge the contract, he's now taking credit for the song, the entire song. My name is not even on there. It's got his name.
He thinks,
and then the name of the song.
He probably thinks you're so small time that you're not going to do anything about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Little does he know it's 2020, and I mean things have changed. In the past 5 years with like copyrights and masters and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, hey, what you're talking about your life and how things happen and
synchronicities. Yes,
it's interesting. We're talking about this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, there's a reason. I believe in that stuff.
Okay.
There's a reason why things come up.
Yes.
So the fact that I asked you on this podcast and we're talking about it should kind of,
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree.
All right. Do you play any instruments?
I in high school I played the saxophone in high school, but that's the only instrument I've ever played, and I haven't touched it since then.
Okay, you may not believe me, but you do sound, okay? You don't look, you sound like a sax player. There's something about, your vocal energy that tells me that you play sax.
Really?
Yeah, I can't explain it. It's
that's weird.
Like one of my friends plays oboe, and I called it, and they're like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. You just have that." Like you look at a guitar player and like, oh, you look like a guitar player, but then you look at someone that doesn't look like a musician, and you're like, oh, you probably play guitar, and you're like, oh, I do play guitar, like that, like
right. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's okay. I know you've toured, right? You've done like shows.
Yeah.
So is there? What's the most memorable show you've done?
The most memorable show that I've done is when I opened up for the Autism Society of America's national conference held in Milwaukee. That's the most memorable moment for me in performing that song, because I pretty much kicked the conference off. So that was major for me, So that's about the most memorable one.
I did.
And number two would be my one of my first performances, which was here in San Diego, which was for Autism Speaks, where when I was on stage performing, and it was my first time seeing people in the audience crying while I was performing this song.
Wow.
And not only are they crying, after it was over, they came up to me hugging me and crying. So that's one of the most memorable moments after and I mean the same thing happened at the conference. The same thing happened there. But I'm a very sensitive individual when it comes to things that I'm passionate about. So I typically break down on stage or break down when I'm talking or whatever. That's just me. It's just, I did it when I came to Option for All. I'm just so passionate about helping people that it's really hard for me to explain to people how I feel when I talk about it. And how I feel when I talk about how these kids are being judged at school and they're being treated different by society, and how that affects me. It affects me in a way that it doesn't affect other people, and it's hard to explain it. I just don't. It's just in my blood. I don't know. But yeah, so that was the most memorable performance was at the conference, and they flew me out there for that conference.
Wow, was it surreal when you were performing?
Yeah, it was, because I was like the highlight, So it was really, because by that time everyone knew who I was. When I first started performing in San Diego, no one knew. The song hadn't gone viral yet. Hadn't won the $50,000 yet. No one really knew who I was, So this was in 2017, a year after, where people pretty much at the conference had either heard about me or they had heard the song. So it's kind of surreal in a sense that, all of these people know who I am, and they're coming up to me wanting to take pictures with me. And at this event, there were so many people there that had gone viral, like, people that had gone viral that had autism on Facebook. A lot of them were there. And it was just amazing to be there in that type of environment. I met a lot of celebrities that basically are well known in the autism industry, So it was pretty cool. And I think, when I went to the other autism event for Autism Society of America, I can't even think of his name. What's the guy's name that was married to? Was it Jennifer Lopez? Gosh, he's famous. What is his name?
Jennifer Lopez, his husband.
Who was she married to?
I'll tell you right now. Mark Anthony. Chris.
Nope. It wasn't Mark Anthony. Who was this guy married to?
Oh, Johnny Noah. Oh,
no, it wasn't Jennifer Lopez. No, it wasn't Jennifer Lopez. I can't. The guy. There was an autism movie that came out. He played a guy that he was on the spectrum, but he was high functioning, and I think he was killing people. He's famous. I can't even believe it's on the tip of my tongue.
No, it happens. What's the name of the movie?
Huh?
What's the name of the movie?
I think it starts with a P. I don't even remember the name of it. I don't even remember the name of it.
My God! It happens all the time. It happens.
I can't even think of his name.
Well, when it comes to you, it'll come to you.
Yeah, it'll come to
I'm
me
going to ask
but
you.
Anyway, I met him at an event too. So, but it was pretty cool. Go ahead.
I'm going to ask you a question every musician hates to answer. So
okay. Let's see if I hate it.
What are your least favorite venues to perform at?
Well, I can answer that question. I don't have a problem answering it. I don't have a problem answering because I've experienced it. So,
you're like,
and my story is interesting. My first performance that I ever did was on El Cajon Boulevard, and I think the club is called After 2 now. It wasn't called After 2 back then, but it's called After 2 now, I think. It's because it's a little bar, club, whatever you want to call it. Little hole in the wall. And that was my first ever performance that I did on El Cajon Boulevard and Euclid Avenue, right there on the corner right there. It's where it was.
On Euclid Avenue?
It's right. Well, it's on it's University? No, it's El Cajon. I think it's El Cajon. Yeah, El Cajon and Euclid Avenue. It's on the corner down there. El Cajon and Euclid Avenue, right in that area.
Let's see. I'm looking it up.
You're looking it up? Yeah, it's called After 2. I'm pretty sure it's After 2.
Well, I put After 2 bar in El Cajon, and I get like a bunch of like Sideways bar or something like that.
Oh, really? Yeah, I can't.
After 2 bar, El Cajon. Main Tavern, Sideways Bar, Kelly's Pub. Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of.
Well, maybe that's not the name. I thought it was After 2. I was sure it was After 2. But anyhow, that bar was the first time I ever performed. What you say?
Till 2 Club.
Till 2. That's it. Till 2. That's the club. That was the first place I ever performed, and the worst performance ever. And I'll never forget it, because Remember the guy that I told you about that we ended up going our separate ways?
Yeah.
Well, we had already produced the album when we went our separate ways. But we performed one of my songs. We performed the album, not the album, but 3 of the songs at that club, that bar. He performed with me. And one thing that I'll never forget, and it changed my performances from that point forward. Because when we performed, the microphones were bad. And they were coming in and out when we were trying to rap. They were going in and out, cutting on, cutting off. And, you know, when people are at a show, they don't care about the microphone messing up. They're just looking at the show. And they're just saying, oh, they're bad. That's all they're thinking. They don't know how good you are because the mic's all messed up. And then the music sounded like the speakers were blown. And it just sounded awful. So after that performance, I spoke with him, and we split up, you know, not too long after that. But I told him, I said, you know something? I said, I am never performing again unless there's a major artist opening up the show or performing on the show.
That makes sense.
That's what I decided. I said, I'm never doing a show again unless there's a celebrity on the roster. I'm not going to do it. And from that point forward, I never did a show unless there was a celebrity performing. Nice.
That is the best career decision. Everyone listen to that advice. That's how you do it.
That is, because you already know that these artists have requests.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're getting paid.
Yep.
And they're like, dude, you need to have this kind of microphone. You need to have this type of setup, a sound man, and all of the other things that come along with it. And from that point on, all of my shows were excellent. Except I did have one show where I arrived late and they cut me off in the middle of my performance. That's when I was opening up for Mac 10 at the Coors Amphitheater. And I was opening up for him, and I was late getting there for my performance, and they cut my show in the middle. I guess they was trying to tell me to cut the show, but they behind me, so I'm performing. I can't see them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if they had came to the side of me and did, you know, something like this, then I could have looked at them and said, oh, I got to cut it short. But they cut the mic while I was performing. They cut the mic off and the music. Yeah.
What? Yes. They should have let you finish the song.
Yeah, I didn't even finish the song.
Unbelievable. That is unprofessional, dude. I've never had that. I've never had that happen to me, dude. No way. Wow. I'm so sorry that happened.
I was upset, and I remember telling the crowd, because they was all crowded around the stage, and I remember telling them, you guys should be upset. No, I said, you guys should be pissed off. That's what I said to the crowd. But yeah.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, those when it comes to venues, that's the decision that I made on venues.
Wow. Yeah. That is the best decision ever. I totally back that up, guys. Listen to the dude. I mean, I've done some bad shows. The fact that he did one. Yeah, I've done backyards, garages. I mean, I've done. Right. Dude, one time I did a show where I was performing, and when I show up, the guy's like, yeah, you know, we can't have you guys plug in your amps, or there's no PA. And I looked at him like, I'm doing an acoustic set by myself. What do you mean I can't have a PA? Right. And he's like, yeah, you know, we got hit with the noise maintenance. I'm like, dude, you're on Hollywood Boulevard. What are you talking about? And really, yeah, he had to cut. They took the P out, and I was like, you know what? I'm not even playing.
No, dude.
I left. I left. I told the other guys that walked in, I'm like, hey, they took the PA. There's no PA, and they're like, what? Like, we're a full band. Yeah. Like, I was like, no, we're out. Yeah. El Scorpion on Hollywood Boulevard.
Wow.
Yes, that is the venue that's one of the worst experiences. Like, I walked in and nothing was comped. I mean, they weren't even nice, and the guy's like, yeah, no PA. And I'm like, you're kidding. Like, really? You're on Hollywood Boulevard. Hollywood Boulevard. You're like half a block from Ripley's. What do you mean you have no PA and you got noise? Get out of here, dude.
Yeah, something else was going down with that.
Nah, we all left. The whole night left. All the groups left. We're like, no, we're done.
Yeah. I can imagine that would have been embarrassing getting up there trying to play with a microphone sitting in front of you or whatever, you know. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So I
imagine like a whole bar of people talking and drinking and loud, and it's just you, no microphone, playing the acoustic guitar. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
yeah, I know. It's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing.
Nah,
so I get it. I get it. I completely get it.
Yeah. Do you play any covers, or have you ever done any covers?
You know, the only covers that I've done are covers where I'm being funny. Those are the only covers I've done. I did one for Drake's. What's Drake's song? Hotline Bling. I did Hotline Bling, and then I did Holy Grail with Justin Timberlake and Jay-Z. Wow. Those are the only covers that I've done, and it's because I changed the lyrics in the song, and I made them in relations to driving a bus, and people got a kick out of it. They got a kick out of it. Cool. I gotta hear that. Some funny stuff, and the one that I did with Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake, Holy Grail. I actually mentioned my MTS director of transportation. I actually mentioned his name in the rap, and you know we're union, so you know it's kind of a cutthroat industry when it comes to some of the drivers. Because a lot of them were jealous of me because I'm just a good driver. Not only am I a good driver, but everybody loves me. You know, that's just the type of person I am. But you're always going to have some haters, you know? Yeah. So there's some people went up to the tower to tell on me, because, you know, when I don't know if you remember when corporations started cracking down on people and what they say on Facebook. And when they say, yeah, remember that? Remember that phase we went through? Yep. Well, they went and told on me up to the tower, right? But what happened is nothing was ever said to me. But management started coming back telling me that they saw the video and that it was funny, you know, and that they were laughing.
It backfired.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, he didn't get in trouble? What the?
Yeah, they were trying to get me in trouble. And they even went so far as to, since the company didn't do anything to me, they felt like it was favoritism. They felt like, well, why is Vee able to do something like that? And I explained to him, I said, it's not bad. I said, even in the end of the rap, when I took it out on the intro, it was something about, so if you ever want a comfortable ride with MTS. So it was almost like a commercial, the way I did it. So it's nothing bad about it. They couldn't say anything bad about it. And then when I did the song Dago Pride, I don't know if you've seen that music video, but when I did Dago Pride, at the end of the music video, I have a bus. I have one of the MTS's buses in the back of me at the end of the video when it ends. And our bus line is called Rapid. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but it's called Rapid.
Yeah, of course.
So what I do is I pretty much direct and produce all of my music videos. And I even tell them how to edit the music videos. I mean, everything. So it's good. I stood in front of the Rapid and I covered up the ID and it just says rap on the front of the bus. So that's just my creative nature. I do stuff like that, you know? Yeah. So they try to tell me about that. And they actually, they came to me, and for a while they told me that I was going to have to remove the YouTube video. But then after they saw how popular I was, then they was like, hey, well, maybe we can use you to do some commercials. So they had me do like a few commercials. Yeah, so it backfired on all the people that was trying to hate on me. It kind of backfired on them, you know. And they even went to the union president.
Oh my God!
They went to the union president, and I got a friend request from the union president, and I thought it was kind of odd, and I knew what it was about because I got a friend request on Facebook. I said, so he's sending me a friend request so he can see this video that everybody is talking about, right? So after he sent me a friend request, about 2 days later, he deleted me as a friend. So I knew that's what it was. So about 4 days later, he comes up to me and he goes, V, I need to talk to you. And I go, okay, yeah, what's going on? And I already knew what it was about. So I go, what's going on? And he goes, yeah, he goes, I heard about you doing a video, and you mentioned, Jim Burns' name upstairs. He said, are you there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
He says, I heard about you doing it. And I go, yeah. And I started laughing when he asked it. I said, oh, yeah, I did that. So he looks at me and he goes, you can't do that, V. And I said, what do you mean?
I already did.
And he goes, well, they have the rules against doing it. And I said, well, if the company had a problem with it, they would have said something to me. I said, obviously, they don't have a problem with it. He goes, yeah, well, just make sure you don't do it again. So I think he was just doing it because these drivers are hating on me and, he's got a job to do. And I was like, whatever, dude. Yeah. I was like, okay. But it was funny to me. So I'm an interesting character.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I know that we're in a pandemic and I know that, things are crazy and stuff, but I got to ask because I'm even thinking about it myself. Are you planning on doing any shows, even virtually?
Well, I have one show scheduled to fly out to Illinois. It got canceled this year in the pandemic. It was I was due to perform in April, I believe it was April 22nd. Mm-hmm. And the pandemic, of course, hit in, the second week of March. Well, when they shut down everything. I actually left my job 2 weeks after that. So I don't know if you know, but I've been quarantined for 9 months now. I haven't been to work in 9 months.
You told me.
Yeah, I've been quarantined. So I have asthma and I have some other concerns that makes me susceptible.
Yeah, no, of course.
So I explain to people, because people don't look at asthma like that. Oh, it's just asthma. I said, but you don't understand what it's like not to be able to breathe. If you have asthma, you just understand.
Dude, the coronavirus attacks your lungs. I mean,
yes, it attacks your respiratory system. So, so I left that second week of March. I left my job, and I love my job. Anybody that knows me, they'll tell you I absolutely love my job.
I know.
I'm interested in the fact that I don't know if you're familiar with the 16 different personalities. But there's 16 different personalities, and I'm considered what they call an INFJ. That's my personality. And we are somewhat of an introvert, but we can be a people person. Like I like being around people, but I have to balance it with being by myself, Yep. So as long as when I'm around people, whether it's in the workplace or whatever, I'm okay. I'm not really good in like crowds and things like that. Kind of like people that are on the spectrum in a way. When it comes to that, I don't like really being I don't fit in. I don't drink. I don't use profane language. I don't cause problems. I'm just a different type of guy. So I don't fit in. Even with the rap industry, when I'm hanging out with these guys, I don't fit in with them because I don't do what they do. So I'm just odd. It's awkward for me. When I would go out with Domino and we would perform, and I would always perform with him on stage, whether it be Goldilocks from Snoop Dogg's group, Goldilocks, I would perform with him, Dub Shack, Exhibit, all of these people, Warren G. I don't fit in. So Domino would come outside and I would be sitting over on a bench over by myself, and he'd be like, V, come on in, man. But he knows me and he respects me and he knows what V needs his time, and he'll just leave me alone. You know what I mean? But, I done lost track of the question.
The performing and stuff, and you're saying how you you have to do a balance. You can't be around crowds and stuff.
Yeah, but your question was in regards to the pandemic and if I had any shows, right? Yeah, so the only show that I have coming up is scheduled in that show that was canceled this year is been rescheduled for this next year in May. So that's the next show that I have scheduled in Illinois, but I don't know that I'm gonna go. because I explained to him that if this thing is not under control, I'm not going to go. So I made that clear to him that if it's not under control, it's something I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
You know, so, but other than that, I don't have anything else scheduled.
Wow. Hey, what about virtual?
I haven't considered virtual. The only thing I'm doing virtual now is I'm having dinner with 4 autism families tomorrow on Facebook, on Zoom, virtual dinner. I'm having with fans, basically 4 fans. But cool. I've done some private performances before where I'm talking to somebody on Facebook and I'll play the song and I'll perform. But no, I haven't considered any virtual performances before. I tried that with a program. I don't know if you know it. I think it's called On Stage. I believe it's what it's called.
Yeah.
I tried that with On Stage when I did a performance at Qualcomm Stadium, and that was years ago, of course. But yeah, it was at Qualcomm Stadium, and I did that. But that's the last virtual performance I've ever done.
Wow!
I mean, it was live. It was a live performance, but they could watch it virtually as well.
Wow! Yeah. Well, I mean, if now's the time to do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I mean, like the spot that I'm at, they actually do live streaming. They have a whole like stage because I'm in a studio at a spot called Rock and Roll San Diego, and they do live streaming with groups and bands and stuff. So
oh, really?
It's super cool, man.
Well, and that might be something I may want to do for the release of my next song. It's something to consider for the release of my next song because. One thing that I'm doing different this time, of course, is I'm shooting my own music video, and I should be getting my camera next week. I'll be getting the camera, but I got my crane, I got my drone, I got my stabilizer. I mean, I got all of the equipment that I'm going to need. I got some lighting, so it'll be my first time actually shooting myself. But I just figured, I actually reached out to the guy that shot my other 3 music videos because I actually flew him out to Boston. When we did the Boston Pride music video, I flew him out to Boston and shot that music video out there. And it was a spur of the moment type thing. I wrote the song when I was out there, and my sponsor was like, hey, man, do it. So I did it and flew him out there and shot the music video. But excuse me, as I said, I pretty much direct, produce it, and tell them how to edit it. So that's what I'll be doing different this time. But what you're mentioning right now about the virtual performance, it may be something that I want to consider because no one's ever seen me perform this new song that I'm going to be releasing. So what I'm going to be doing different is I don't know that I'm going to release the music video before I release the album, because the last time I did that with Dago Pride, when the Chargers had an event when they was trying to keep the Chargers in San Diego, I went to that event and I actually helped them make posters and all of this for this event. And a lot of people recognized me when I was at the event, and they was coming up to me, oh, V, man, I love that Dago Pride song, man. I downloaded it from YouTube. So everybody was saying they downloaded it and turned it into an MP3.
Dang.
So I said, you know something? That's a lesson learned right there. I'm not going to do that the next time, So this time I plan to release. I'm actually talking to a cartoonist right now. And you know how they do the animation, moving cartoons and things like that? He makes the cartoon look like you. And when I do the ad, I think my ad is going to be a cartoon of me actually singing the one verse in the song and the chorus. And that's going to be my limit to releasing information of the song. Meaning I'm going to do pre-orders on iTunes. I'm going to do pre-orders on iTunes and all the other, Google Play and all of that. I'm going to do pre-orders to where, they can order ahead of time, but all they're going to have is a snippet of the song. So nice. It'll be different than how I did it before. And the difference this time is that I'm nationally known now also. Back then I was a nobody. But now that I'm nationally known, now more people are looking forward to, this is 5 years later. They're looking forward to another autism song.
Nice.
So I'm excited about the prospect of doing something different this time. So with this cartoon ad, first of all, that's going to be different for them, for them to see a cartoon ad just playing the music. And then second of all, I'll be shooting my own music video. And of course, on Facebook, I'm going to start pushing that. I'm going to start letting people know to build up the excitement for the song, letting them know, hey, and that song is going to be released on Autism Awareness Day, which is April 2nd. That's going to be when it's going to be released.
Nice.
So, yeah, so I got it all planned out how I'm going to do it. I'm excited about it.
Dude, I'm excited for that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's super cool. Yeah, definitely do a little snippet or a little commercial. That's kind of a bummer that they. I mean, it's flattering, but it's like. You kind of stole the song.
Yeah, they were telling me about it, and that's when I finally realized, like, wow, that's how you guys are getting the music.
Freaking YouTube.
But it is what it is.
So, how's your writing process when you write music? I mean, I know you've mentioned, throughout the interview that sometimes you do it on the spot and all that stuff. I like how's your writing process and your rehearsals too? Like, how do you rehearse?
Okay, so when it comes to writing, of course, every artist has a different way of how they go about doing it. There's some people that can write the song first and then add the beat later. I don't operate that way. The way I operate is my composer, Rhodeezy, when I reach out to him and say, I need a beat, I actually assist him in producing the beat. And the way I assist him is I'll find a song online that I like, and I'll take certain beats and things out of it, but not the actual melody. I'll take certain beats out of it, and I'll say, I want something like this, something similar to this. And then he'll start trying to construct it and put it together. And we'll keep going back and forth. And this all happens over the phone. We don't actually meet up and do it. Wow. It all happens over the phone and email. And we go back and forth. And he's making little adjustments. And I'll say, oh, okay, can you change this? Can you change this? Can you take this out? Can you add this in? And we'll eventually come up with a complete song.
Right.
And just about all of the songs that he's done for me, that's how we come up with them. Is that way. That's how we do them.
Wow.
So that's the first step for me. Because me, like I told you, when I listen to rap, a lot of times I don't even listen to the words. It's the beat that I'm listening to. So I have to feel the beat before I can actually write the song. So even Born This Way, when I wrote that song, what I told him was, with Born This Way and this new song that I just did, I told him, I said, look, the song has to be in the middle. It can't be too hard and it can't be too soft. I said, because I want country people listen to rock. I want everybody listening to this song. I don't want them to listen to it and say it's a rap song and it's got this hip hop beat to it. I said, I don't want that. So when we put together the beat, that's how we came up with Born This Way, which is a very mellow song. I have to plug in my plug. My battery's running down.
Your battery?
Yeah, my battery's running down.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, man.
I gotta plug it in. Let's see. Let's do it this way.
For those of you guys that are wondering, he had some issues with his laptop, so he just jumped on the phone because we had to do the video. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on now. I can't tell if it's on or not. So hang on one second. I have to get another USB to make sure it's working.
Sure. So while he's doing that, guys, you can go to his website, which is VCONTAFITWEAR.com. Okay, VCounterfeitwear.com. That's where you can. That's his website. You guys can check out. None of this is going to be edited out, by the way.
What you say?
None of this is going to be edited out. It's
Oh,
straight.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm fine with that. No problem. No problem.
I dropped your website, by the way, while you went to go get the USB. I let people know to check out your website.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Okay, so I'm back, and what was I lost the question again? You asked about.
I don't.
What was the question?
Your writing process and your practice, how you rehearse.
Okay, so yes,
yeah.
So I was explaining that everyone has their own way of pretty much coming up with a song. So once my composer and I come up with a beat, now I go into creating the chorus for the song. So I come up with a subject. So whatever the song is going to be about. So now I have to come up with the chorus. And as I stated before, I sing my own choruses in the song. So I come up with the chorus based on the chorus sound that we came up with. And one thing about me, when I produce my music, I always try to make my singing melody in tune with the chorus melody. So it kind of flows that way. And I do really good, and it becomes like a catchy song. That's why I've been able to create these catchy hooks because of that. But even without doing that, I've created a lot of pretty catchy hooks, that people actually like. But once I create the chorus and come up with it and the hook is done, now I go to writing the song. So, and I do, of course, one verse at a time. Sometimes when I complete the song, I'll take the verses and switch them around in the order that I originally had them in. Sometimes I'll switch it around just based on the story that I'm trying to tell in the song. So I'll take it and I'll switch it around. But the verses come after the chorus. And so my way of doing a song may be different. Like Domino, I think Domino told me that he writes his songs backwards. I think he told me he writes them backwards, which is kind of odd, but, everybody got their own way of doing it, their own style and what works for them, but for me, that's the way I do it. And then when it comes to rehearsing, one thing about me, one thing that my engineer would tell you is that he doesn't meet a lot of people like me. And what he means is that I can go into the studio and lay down my track. Sometimes I can do it on the first run. Like when I go into the studio, the first run it's done. And I don't have to keep going over it and over it again. And he says that surprises him because he works with rappers that have to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And even when it comes to the chorus. And that's because I practice at home. Like when you talk about rehearsal, I practice at home because it has to sound a certain way before I actually like it.
Right.
And once I finish writing the song, I like to take about 2 weeks before I go into the studio and I keep listening to the song. And what I mean by that is I may record it with my iPhone and just listen to myself rapping over the beat. And I'll record myself rapping over the beat and I keep listening to it over and over and I start tweaking it. So there's some verses that I want to change because I want my flow to be a little smoother. So I'll take out some words, change the words, and just make it run smooth. So where when I rap, everything just kind of flows. So I like to wait about 2 weeks before I actually go into the studio and record. Because by the time I get into the studio, one thing I can admit is that my memory is not good. So I never memorize a song.
What musician's memory is good?
What's that now?
What musician's memory is good?
Mine is bad. I mean, I've even forgotten my lyrics on stage before.
Oh,
my memory is bad. So basically, when I go into the studio, I don't know the song. I don't know it. Even when I shot Born This Way music video, I didn't know the song.
Oh wow!
I did not know the song. He had a piece of paper, a board that he was holding up. I kid you not. He was holding up the lyrics because I didn't know them. I didn't know them. Like in one of the scenes, you can actually look at my glasses and you can see the white piece of paper in my glasses.
I didn't catch that. I gotta
Yeah.
watch it again. I didn't catch that. Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of people don't notice it, but yeah, I didn't know the lyrics because we did it so fast. But because this is what I'm saying. I like to wait 2 weeks because that music video and the writing of that song all happened in 2 weeks. I actually wrote the song, went in the studio and recorded it. Well, actually, it was 4 days, but 2 weeks meaning the time it took for him to edit it and get all of that out of the way, all of the editing process, because he's got a regular job, so it took him a long time. But I did it in 4 days. Born This Way and They Go Pride. I wrote the song, went into the studio and recorded it, and shot the music video in 4 days for Born This Way and They Go Pride. For both
Dude, that is a sick turnaround.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But what I learned from that was that I need to wait 2 weeks because I'm more satisfied because after I've completed it, I always listen to the song and say, man, I shouldn't have said that right there. I should have said this.
Yeah, I know.
You know? So that's how I feel about Born This Way, and I feel the same way about They Go Pride. I feel the same way. And Boston Pride, because Boston Pride was done in 4 days too. And that's the one where I flew him from San Diego. And that was some of the money that I didn't ask my sponsor for any money. I spent my own money for all of that. When I flew him from San Diego out there, and I spent like $2,000 on just the clothing for that music video. For the clothing and the tennis shoes that I bought and the jersey and all of the stuff that I bought for that music video, I spent like $2,000. I kid you not, on that music video. And that didn't include flying him out, paying him and all of that. But this was all done on my own. And one thing a lot of people don't understand, like, you know, you hear Dago Pride and you hear Boston Pride and you say, man, those songs have the same beat. Well, yeah, they do have the same beat. They have the same beat because Dago Pride, the only reason I did Boston Pride was because the Chargers left San Diego. And I know LA is not going to play a song called Dago Pride. That representing San Diego. That's short for San Diego. Dago. Yeah. They're not going to be playing a song called Dago Pride. So I didn't want the song to go to waste. So even though I put all my effort into promoting, even when I performed at DJ Quick Show, I drew a lot of attention to myself to try to, you know, promote to keep the Chargers in San Diego. That was my last performance at Qualcomm Stadium. Yeah. And I really focused on, you know, really trying to keep, you know, the Chargers, you know, in San Diego, and it just didn't happen. But what people don't know is that after making that decision, and I don't know if you know it, but if you watch the video, you also see at the end of the video, I was going to do a movie. I was going to shoot a movie called Dago Pride. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube and you watch the Dago Pride music video, you make sure it's under my channel. It should have probably about 17,000 views or something like that. But on that music video, at the end of it, it shows the introduction to the movie that I was going to do. And it's called Dago Pride.
I'm getting a bunch of Pride stuff. Hold on.
If you punch in Versatile along with it, it should pop up.
Hold on a second. I love when my computer decides to not cooperate.
That's what's going on right now. But yeah, so basically, what people don't know is that I did Boston Pride because, you know, Dago Pride went down the drain. So I figured, why not use the beat and then give props to all of the autism families out in Boston for the New England Patriots that they had gone to the Super Bowl that year. So
is it the official video?
What name does it say on there? Whose account?
Vee Meadows.
That's me. Yeah,
okay,
that's
cool.
It. So at the end of that music video, you'll see the introduction to my movie that I was going to do.
Oh, you know what? I do remember this because I edited your documentary.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was the one that asked. Is like, hey, send me the original They
Yes.
wave because what I have is just not. No.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I do
Yeah, I,
remember.
I actually sat there all. Yeah, I remember this. I remember.
Yep, yep. I was gonna do a movie. I was gonna shoot a movie and everything, but that just didn't happen when they left San Diego. You know, um,
Wow.
so Boston Pride was done for the kids on the spectrum out in Boston. So when you watch that music video, you're gonna see all of the kids with autism in that music video. You know, they're all in there. You'll see them in there and they're all excited because they've never been in a music video before. So now all of the kids that used to tease them, now they think they're cool. Like, man, you're cool. You're in a music video. You know what I mean? So it kind of lifted their spirits up, you know, and it kind of made
That's
me
so
feel
cool.
good because I was actually making them stand out, you know. And now, you know, their friends are, what? Well, I would have wanted to be in it, and they said, well, it was just for people with autism, you know. So they felt special, and that was the whole thing. I wanted them to feel special, and that's why I did that music video. And I used my creativity in that music video, and you could see it on the part where I have the Brady Bunch scene, where they're all in the little squares, and I do the Brady Bunch scene, and I did that out in. I remember. I found a random recording studio that was down the street from the hotel that my sponsor had put me up in. And and when he heard the rap and I got to that part, he was like, dude, I can't believe nobody else thought of that, dude. That's cool. It's just different, bro. I like to be different, because I figure Brady Bunch, Tom Brady, doesn't matter. Why not do that and use that, that scene they're so popular for, of them sitting in the little squares, so.
What was that show? Price is Right? No, where they were in the celebrity
Yeah, I know what you're
square.
talking about. It's kind of like that. That's what they use on the Brady Bunch. That's exactly what they use on the Brady Bunch when it comes on. And I even sung the little melody. That's what he was like when I sung the melody. He was like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "I can't believe nobody else thought of that." In Boston, or the New England Patriots, like to take Tom Brady's name and actually make it the subject of that melody. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. When it comes to putting a song together, that's pretty much how I do it.
So you guys heard it from the man himself. I mean, creative process, it doesn't matter how you do it. You just got to do it, and eventually you're going to get to that end result that just makes you smile, And then, everybody listening, I'm going to plug in his YouTube. I'm going to plug in all the media so you guys can follow him. Definitely follow this cat. He's super cool. And yeah, I have a couple more questions. You still got a little bit of time?
Sure, I got plenty of time. I'm good.
Okay. Okay. What are some of the personal problems that you face with your music? It could be well, I mean, like when you said you don't use profanity and people are like, wait, what? Or it could be like struggling with like writing hooks for a certain reason. Like, is there anything specific that you personally struggle with or you face with your music?
Well, you hit the nail right on the head when you talk about, because you got to remember when I dropped in 2003, that's when Snoop was out. That's when Dre was hitting. That's when my boy Domino, my best friend Domino, was hitting. You got the West Coast rap, the gangster rap, that was hitting back then. So when I dropped, my music, even though people liked my music, they didn't like the fact that there was no profanity in it. I wasn't talking about, I wasn't calling girls the bees, and I wasn't doing all of this. That was the most struggling time for me, was to accept the fact that society didn't really accept my music because I was too Will Smithish.
I don't care what anyone says. Will Smith is the man, dude. Like, dude, come on. Like, oh my God, dude. Like,
look, and this is what I used to explain to people. I said, there was a time when Ice Cube, Ice-T, all of these rappers used to diss Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They used to diss Will Smith, and they used to say it publicly because they said he was soft and he was a sellout to the industry. But now you look at them. Look at Ice-T.
Hey, that's true.
Look at Ice Cube. Ice Cube, he's the producer. He's doing his own movies. All of these guys that used to criticize him for doing what he's doing, they all doing it now.
Yep.
So I always say that to people. I said, Will, the last I heard, he was making $20 million a movie. Ain't none of them making that. I said, if anything, Will was smart. Yep. That's what he was. He was smart and he stayed true to who he was. And that was the struggle. That was the hardest thing for me, to stay true to making clean music. That was tough because it wasn't being accepted. But throughout the whole thing, I stayed true to it. And ultimately, I didn't succeed. But I didn't change who I was. You know, you can't go out there and find a lot of songs with me cursing in it. You can't find it. It's just not out there. You know, because I stayed true to who I was. And even though I knew it wasn't selling, I mean, my fan base, for the people that did like it, was from 5 years old all the way up to 55. I never forget. They love my music, but that's not the demographics that's going to go out there and buy it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They're not going to buy that music. So, you know, it just didn't hit with people. It just didn't hit. And I, that was hard for me, even though I was opening up for like legends like KRS-One from back in the day. You know, I was opening up for legends, man. And it didn't matter though, because when I came up, they was like, well, he don't curse.
Dude, you know, earlier, good music is good music, period.
Right.
No, right. I hate how people are like, nah, it's cool, but yeah, you gotta drop the F-bomb. No, you don't, dude. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It irks me, like, you know.
Well, unfortunately,
down good music because you have this like standard or something. It's like, dude, you know you enjoy it. Stop pretending like you don't. You know.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Completely agree. Completely agree. Because they love my music. One song that I had called "Speak My Language," that was one of the songs that I feel that could be released today, and people would still like it.
Yeah.
"Speak My Language." I never released that song. But it's a song that and another one called Cali Folks. Cali Folks, which is on my website, and Speak My Language. Those two songs, to this day, like I put Cali Folks on my personal page probably about 2-3 weeks ago. And people don't realize that song is over a decade old. And they're all saying, wow, man, I like that song. They're all loving the song because it's like a West Coast Cali. It's almost like a Will Smith summertime song, you know, like summertime, that song, you know what I mean? It doesn't say that, but it's got that vibe to it. And what I talk about in the song is talking about the beach and just California in general and barbecuing and all of that. So it's got that vibe to it. So people just kind of feeling it. They're like, man, it's a cool song, man. And I never released the song though. Like I really believe that if I release these songs, that a lot of people would like them. And especially if I did a music video. And that's what I've been considering. I've been actually considering doing a music video with these songs that are over 10 years old and nobody's ever heard.
Just do it. Don't do it. What do you got to lose, you know?
I know, right? That's what I'm thinking. You're right. No, you're exactly right.
Yeah, you know, if anything, the people that follow you now will appreciate that, and they'll share that to new people.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Because nowadays, I mean, yeah, there's like a small group out there that's still, you know, they're stuck in the 80s and the 90s. No, it's got to be like this, and you gotta swear in your rap records. You know, what I mean? Or even in like metal and rock, it's the same thing. You ain't rock if you don't wear like makeup. It's like, dude, we're in 2020.
Yeah. You know exactly.
Like, there's a reason why genres change. I mean, if you're gonna be theatrical, by all means do it. I mean, I do, you know. But I mean, your fans and even everyone listening now, I mean, they're all gonna like it. I mean, if you guys don't like it, you're lying to yourselves. I'm just telling you.
Right.
And I'm being honest. Like, if I think your stuff sucks, I'll tell you. Like, hey, man, it sucks.
Right.
But it doesn't, you know. And I mean, dude, you know what? I think they'll like it. You should just don't let good stuff collect
Yeah,
dust.
yeah. I definitely. I mean, I think all of that'll change once I get my camera equipment because, like I said, now the guy that shot all of my other three music videos, I actually reached out to him to shoot this music video. I reached out to him about 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
but unbeknownst to him, he said something that inspired me. And what he said to me was, we kind of had some conflict sometimes because he's not used to working with somebody that has their own ideas and is creative, and I don't need really any input on what I've envisioned. He's not used to that. Me being my own director, producer, and even down to editing. So we kind of used to bump heads here and there, but in this conversation, um, you know, uh, he said to me, he was trying to explain something to me because I had went and I had purchased some, what do they call they're not HD filters, H something filters for the cameras. What are they called? H something filters.
I wouldn't know. I'm audio.
Yeah, that's right. You're audio. I forget what it's called, but I have bought these filters for my drone because I have some drone shots that I want to do over a flower field with a lady that's going to be dressed in all white, and she's going to have these wings. I bought these wings that cost $400. There's some white wings because I like to, because I feel like even if even if you're doing a music video, it's like movies. They have the props for the movies. You know what I mean? And if you don't have everything that kind of brings that image to life, then it defeats the purpose. So I ordered these wings from Russia. And they were over $400, and they're huge. These huge white wings, because the name of the song is called "My Little Angel." So that's one of the themes that I'm going to have in there. So anyway, I was talking to him about all the stuff that I'm doing to make this an outstanding music video. Because the other music video reached 2 million views, and I had told him from the beginning. I said, "Dude, my videos are going to be better than any videos that you've done." I told him that, But I think what upset him is the fact that he can't take credit for him. He can't say that because he's the videographer. So all he did was shoot him. So he can't say that he directed him, he produced him, he edited him. I gave him the edit credits, even though I told him how to edit it. I gave him those credits.
Right.
But I think that that kind of bothered him in a way. But anyhow, the comment that he made to me was, I was telling him about the filters that I had purchased for the drone. And he said, well, you don't need to go all out like that, And I was like, well, no, he said, you're going overboard, I think is the word that he used. And I said, the way I look at it is when I researched it, it pretty much says that you could do better color grading on the aerial footage if I were to get these filters. So we can get better footage, I said, and that's why I purchased them. And then he starts rattling on and talking about all of this video stuff. And he makes a comment that really stuck with me. He said, well, it's kind of hard to explain to people that don't really understand how video works. and that's something you don't say to somebody like me.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm a jack of all trades. I literally am.
Yeah.
I can do just about anything I want to do. And I've proven it to myself. Even when it comes to computers, whatever it is, building stuff, cars, I can do just about anything I want. And when he said that to me, he don't know that resonated with me. That's something that people don't typically. Right? That's what I'm saying. He has no idea that comment that he made to me was like, dude, you don't say that to me because I'll just prove you wrong. I've done that all my life, So at that point, I started debating on whether or not I wanted to shoot my own music video. And so, like I said, I have a stabilizer. I have my crane that I bought. I bought a crane, a camera crane. I got the drone, of course, and I'll be getting the camera next week. And then I got lighting, and I'm buying all of these props. I bought props. I rented a U-Haul, And I have a scene that I want to do in a music video that's going to be, because I consider myself an educator to the public.
Right.
And it's a little different the way I present myself. When I say an educator, it's because I speak to people through music. That's how I speak to them. I'm educating them through my music, So I have a scene where I'm going to be in a class setting. So I had to drive up to Corona. I rented a van and I drove up to Corona and I bought some desks that the children have when they're in class.
Wow.
I drove up there and I bought desks and I brought them back down here. And right now they're kind of stored away. And I have another scene that I'm going to be doing because, when you have a child on the spectrum, you take them to their therapist, you take them to the doctors a lot. So I have a scene in there where, I'm going to have a patient bed with the father in the bed. So I'm going to rent a bed. There's a company that actually rents those beds, those hospital beds. They rent them.
Right.
So I'm going to rent a bed. Then I have the stethoscope that I have, and I bought the doctor's jacket because there's going to be a doctor playing a role in it. So this is what for people that have autism, I want them to all understand this is my money that I'm spending on this. This is my personal money that I've made from driving buses that I'm spending on this. And this is because I want to continue making a difference.
Right.
I don't have to do this, but because I want to make a difference and continue what I've started, this makes me feel good to invest into this stuff and know that I'm going to be able to continue what I've started. And this time I'll be able to take more credit for the music video and my creativity, because this is how I got noticed by ESPN, was through my music. So when I start to show my creativity, because as a product developer, I mean, like I said, I have ideas that people look at and say, wow, I can't believe you came up with that. Like, they're pretty amazed by it, but this is just the creativity that I have. So for me to be able to put it into a music video and take full credit for it, that means a lot to me, especially letting the autism community know that I did this for them. And I didn't ask anyone for anything. This is my project that I'm paying for because I want to continue to make a difference for you guys, and
inspire everybody because, I mean, you and I definitely know this, and a lot of other individuals that are in the field know this, that they feel like they're alone and they can't achieve things,
Right.
And they feel like they can't do things by themselves, and, they struggle learning. And the fact that you're literally doing it on your own because someone told you couldn't in a way,
right? Pretty much.
Really, what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
It speaks like mountains of value, because that's how the community feels, like they all feel like that, they like, I can't amount to anything. And then when individuals that show them like, you can, and
right,
you're right. You're doing exactly that, and you're showing them that, dude, if you want to do it,
just do it.
And if you physically can't because you're a paraplegic or whatever, there's ways around that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
There's ways.
Yeah, what was it that said, the biggest, the word, you are your own worst enemy.
Yes.
If you don't,
biggest critic and all of the above. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
dude, that's amazing. Like, you got to be yourself, and that's how you get your vision completed, And then if you do run into a spot where you just like, I don't know how I can achieve this, or I don't know how to get to this visual or this audio or whatever, then you ask someone and they show you, or they do it for you and say, watch how I do it so you don't call me again. You know what I mean?
And something, it's interesting that you say that, because a lot of people always ask me, because see, I put a lot of the stuff that I do on Facebook, and I get messages from people. They're just really amazed. They're like, dude, how do you know how to do all of this stuff? They always ask me, because it's just so many things that I do, and I'll put it on Facebook, whether it's changing the inside of a computer to breaking down my engine. And they always ask me, how do you know it? And I tell them, I say, you know what? I don't like asking people to do stuff for me, because in the past, when I've asked people to do stuff for me or to show me how to do something or fix something for me, the chances of them actually doing it has been very slim.
Right.
So what I decided to do was to go to YouTube University. That's what I tell everybody. I tell them, I said, I go to YouTube University and I can learn how to do anything. And I've been successful
That's the truth. Yep, that's the truth.
So
our new teacher.
Yeah. It works great, man. Works great.
Wow, that's incredible, dude. You know, I gotta thank you for doing this, man. It's been a while since I've restarted the podcast. You know, I told producer Deanna, I was like, I gotta restart it, and I've been do it, and I moved in here, and I was like, I'm doing it, and I'm happy you're on here, dude. It's been an honor having you on here, and
thanks, man.
I'd love to have you again. You're more than welcome to come back. You can even crash any interview. You know, maybe
you're
just
maybe
amazing,
we could schedule something to come back once I, start my campaign for the new album. I mean, the new single and all of that. You know, maybe I can come back and we can start discussing that.
Yeah, and then however we can help, however we can help to promote, just even by just tagging you and stuff, and
for sure.
You know what? One of my students, I actually hired her for the podcast. Once she graduates, she's going to be working part-time. Well, she already is working part-time with me, but she blogs. She's a blogger on my website.
Okay.
I'm going to have her do an interview on you if you don't mind.
Oh, don't mind at all. I'm always willing to talk.
I actually interviewed her last night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, she was on the podcast, and it was my second attempt with her, because the first time I tried to Facebook Live it, and Facebook destroyed my everything. The Zoom didn't work. My DOS didn't record anything. Facebook had like a weird echo. People were like, we can't hear you, and we were on live.
Oh wow.
The whole interview was it was botched. So this was last week, and I told her, like, hey, let's do it on Monday. She's like, okay. And I honestly, I didn't write it down, and I slipped my mind, and I was in here, and I was like, I was supposed to do something. I'm like, oh my God, Christy. I'm like, you want to do it now? She's like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, dude. Like, Mondays are crazy because of my daughter. And she's like, no, that's cool. And we did it last night, and I just sent it to my editor to edit the video.
Okay. Cool.
Put that up. So yeah, I'll let her know, and then I'll hook you guys up so she can do a blog on you. And
that would be awesome,
dude. Thanks again, man. Is there anything else you want to tell anyone? You want to share any media for them to follow? I mean, everything we're going to be advertising for you anyway, so.
Well, I think most importantly, if you Google Vee Meadows, which is spelled VeeMeadows, just about everything pops up. I like people to follow me on my personal page. Mm-hmm. They can send me a friend request if they want, but I always try to let people know ahead of time that I have rules for my personal Facebook account, and it's kind of weird because people are not used to rules, but I have rules on my Facebook account. I don't allow any profane language. I don't allow any debates going back and forth between friends on my account. There's no arguing. Yeah. There's no disrespecting, and it's amazing because no one ever does it. They respect my Facebook account, so if you Google it, you can pretty much follow me on my either follow me or send me a friend request, as long as you abide by my rules. I don't have a problem. I do have some people that are on the spectrum that sometimes will say things or do things that other people don't understand, but I understand because as long as I understand what's going on, sometimes I'll send them a private message letting them know, because I have one that's on the spectrum, and she always put the little laughing mojo. Yeah. She puts the little laughing mojo on everything. So it doesn't matter if it's sad or anything awful. Yeah. She'll always put that on there, and I'll get my fans will start attacking her. They'll start. they'll start attacking her because they don't understand. So then I have to send them a private message explaining it to them, that she's on the spectrum and this is just the way she expresses herself. This is the emoji that she chooses, and she doesn't put anything else. Well, she only has two. She has the mad one, and she has the laughing one. She'll let you know when she's mad.
I think everybody has the mad one.
Yeah. So they can follow me on my personal page. They can also hit me up and follow me on my business page, which is Versatile Speaks for Us. So it's at Versatile Speaks for Us, which is VRSATYL, and then the number 4, then the word speaks, which with an S, and then Versatile Speaks, then the number 4, and then us, US. So Versatile Speaks for Us on Facebook. And I think I also have a page under Vee Vrsatyl Meadows. So I have 2 pages that I have that they could follow me on. I'm also on YouTube as well. I'm not on there a lot, but I have a YouTube channel, which is under V Meadows. And then I also have a Twitter account under Versatile. And I have an Instagram account under Versatile Speaks for Us, just as I do for Facebook. So those are the social media sites that people can follow me on.
Cool. And then, like I mentioned before, guys, you can check out his website as well, vcounterfeitwear.com, and it's VCONTAFITWEAR.com. You guys,
you said VCON. It's VCOUN.
Oh, my bad. You're right. VCOUN.
Yeah.
TA. Yeah, I need glasses.
Yeah.
You guys are listening. You can type that in. If you're watching, you can just go to the links that we're going to have, or you can go to TimeEndsRadio.com, and it's all going to be on there in a couple days. Well, if you're watching it now, it's on there now. But, dude, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to hear the new stuff, and I'm looking forward to having you back on the show when you update us on what happened.
All right, definitely. I'll be back, man. So in the new year sometime we'll hook something up, and I really appreciate you having me on. It's been a great talk.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And that's what we have today, guys. We'll see you guys next week.